Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. My name is Sudhir Sahasranaman, and you're watching Study with Sudhir, your own digital classroom. What to study in history and civics? That's the topic of this particular video, but I have a condition. You should watch this video till the end only if your target is 80 on 80 in the history and civics paper. When I was on the Study with Sudhir app, our history civics course was called the Century course. And it was for a reason because our students used to invariably end up scoring 80 on 80 in the history and civics paper. So if your target is 80 on 80, इस वीडियो को आगे देखें, नहीं तो you are free to log out. Okay. So what to study and how to study is what I'm going to talk about in this particular video. Also, please have a look at the new explanation videos of history, civics, and also geography that I've put on this YouTube channel. Please check out the playlist. I think they are an excellent set of explanation videos. जिसके बाद आपको कोई doubt नहीं रहेगा about various aspects of these three languages. So please go and have a look at it. And let me tell you, some students have been asking about topography. There is a set of 4 new explanation videos done by Rameshwar sir on topography. He's an expert. He's a subject expert on topography. Please go and have a look at those videos because from A to Z पूरा clear हो जाएगा because he's starting from A, B, C, D so that all the concepts will be clear और topography में ही geography में marks lose होते हैं. So please don't miss those videos. Okay, let's come back to history and civics. Okay, now the first thing is to talk about what am I going to talk about in this video. The question that I'm always asked, can I leave out any chapter in history civics? What is the weightage of each chapter? How to remember facts, how to understand civics, and how to prepare for competency-based MCQs. This will be the broad spectrum of questions that I will address in this particular video. Now, let's start from the bottom. How to prepare for competency-based MCQs. Let me tell you one thing. While your 3 marks and 4 mark questions in section C, अगर A, B, C के हिसाब से जाएं, MCQs, the 2 mark questions and then the long format questions के हिसाब से जाएं, history civics को combine देखें, those questions will largely be in the same format as your previous year question papers. ज्यादा फेरबदल नहीं होगा, उसके बारे में भी बात करूंगा. I will talk about that also in detail, but largely they will be on similar lines. Where you will be asked the competency based questions will be in MCQs and in the 2 mark questions. तो इस पोर्शन को 30 मार्क्स को आपको ध्यान से देखना है. 16 marks of MCQs and 14 marks of 2 marks questions, right? The 7 questions. The remaining civics 20 marks and history 30 marks. The long format will be largely on the old format. Okay. So how do you prepare for competency based MCQs? यहाँ पे, and please listen to this carefully, you cannot, I repeat, you cannot afford to just rote learn. You cannot just afford to read your textbook. You cannot afford to read some mediocre quality notes. नहीं काम होगा. अब आपको competency based questions में आपकी understanding test होगी, application of that understanding test होगी, analysis ability test होगी. So for that, you need to understand, and this is in particular with respect to civics. You need to understand with the help of real life situations what happens and how do you apply that understanding. I hope I'm making this clear. Please do not take a risk. MCQs will not be the kind of MCQs you were asked in 2022, 2023, 2024, and to an extent even 2025. It will be more tricky. Okay. Which is why there are 400 marks of competency based MCQs and reasoning questions, 360 marks of MCQs and 40 marks of the 2 mark reasoning questions that I have published on studywithsudhir.com website. I've taken 1 month on this. In fact, more than a month, almost 5 weeks of hard work has gone into this because I truly believe I have curated the best testing content, original content, which I have put. It has a combination of recall, understanding, application, analysis, all kinds of competency-based questions, lots of assertion reasoning, lots of case-based examples. And the feedback from students who have already potted has been fabulous. And it really pleases my heart because मेहनत बहुत की है उस पे. इस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन बैंक को क्रिएट करने में काफी मेहनत लगी है. सो प्लीज मेक यूज ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर set of test papers. Okay. And what will be of advantage to you is that after you submit the test, how do you get the test papers? You register with your email ID. You can see a icon on top called free test. You can attempt some of the free tests so that you get used to the website. And then you can click on subscribe, where you will see all the different packages which are available for you to purchase, very nominally priced, so that you can go and test yourself very well. इसमें फायदा ये है कि after you do the test, you submit the test, the explanation points that I have put are out of this world, because in every explanation point, I've tried to ensure that you get more information about that point, which helps you also in revision. So मेरा मकसद ये था कि हालांकि these are MCQs preparing you for the 16 plus 14 marks, but actually it will also help you even in the long format, because it will constantly keep on revising. Okay, so help in revision. So that is something which you really look forward to, the explanation points. बहुत दिमाग लगाया है इस क्वेश्चन पेपर्स को प्रिपेयर करने में. So please go ahead and do that on the studywithsudhir.com. Okay, now let's look at the weightage of each chapter. Now, if you look at the weightage, let's look at history first. Let's look at history first. You have the first chapter, which is the most important one, the first war of independence. Then growth of nationalism में से भी काफी questions आए हैं in the past also. So it carries enough weightage. So these two are the most important chapters. First and second phase में you do get personality based questions, generally speaking. Muslim League is generally a very small part, the Lucknow Pact, etc. Then Mahatma Gandhi, the Gandhian period of history, the Subhash Chandra Bose and Indian independence में the first chapter, because it is a long chapter, please go and have a look. And pleading with you in your own interest, please do have a look at the videos that I have put on the history playlist. The new ones. You will really not be left with any doubt after seeing those videos. The Quit India, not much. Forward block and INA, not much. This is again important because I'll tell you the kind of questions that will be asked. Then from the world history, these two are very important. The First World War, rise of dictatorship, Hitler, Mussolini. The Second World War. This I suspect could be a little more. This one I'm a little doubtful about. It could be more than 2 to 4 marks. UN, this is the most dry part because यहाँ पर आपको थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा recall questions पे ज़्यादा focus करना पड़ता है. All the different functions of the Security Council, General Assembly, composition, etc., right? And the different UN agencies, NAM plus NAM, this will come for another 3 to 5 marks. Okay, when I say this, this includes the entire set of the long format. It includes a 2 mark. It also includes the MCQ. So सबको मिलाकर ये weightage है. Okay. As far as civics is concerned, Parliament, the most important, 12 to 14 marks. Parliament chapter, you cannot ignore and you cannot leave out. Okay, that is something which you simply cannot do. President, Prime Minister is to 10 to 15 marks, depending on which comes. Generally, alternate hota hai, but I would always say revise both, prepare both. Judiciary, Supreme Court, High Court, and Lok Adalat for another 10 to 12 marks. Now, the question that was another thing which is asked, can we leave out anything? If your target is 80 on 80, no. My answer is at no in capital letters. 80 on 80, no. If your target is 55 out of 80, you can leave chapters out, entirely up to you. But if your target is 80 on 80, which I would expect all my students to get, please prepare every chapter, because otherwise you will lose marks in the MCQs, right? So, and with competency-based MCQs, there could be some kind of a correlation between different units. You know, Prime Minister and President ka correlated. Parliament and Prime Minister ka correlated, Supreme Court and High Court ka correlated. So you cannot afford to, leave out any chapter. Some students say, I will study Supreme Court, I will leave out High Court, kind of a thing. So that is a risk that you would be taking, entirely up to you, depending on what your individual target is. Okay, now let's come to even more specifics. In the first chapter, the first war of independence, please do focus on key leaders like Rani Lakshmibai, like Mangal Pandey, what they did, and what was their role, etc. What happened after 1857? Again, very important. So you need to know these kind of questions, which have often been repeated in the previous year question papers, the main causes. all the causes, the military cause, the political cause, the social-religious cause, the economic causes, all of that, you need to know point by point. And uske andar also you need to know the sub points, the things like the why the role played by the telegraph and the trains. Of course, that comes later on in the growth of nationalism thing. Describe any role played by the two leaders, the effect of the revolt, these things, three things. Then Raja Mohan Roy, Jyotiba Phule, most important. Then this is very important, the formation of the Indian National Congress. Where was the first session? Who was the first president? Who was the second president? Why was she shifted from Pune to Mumbai, etc., etc. The early nationalist movements, you need to know the difference between the early and the assertive nationalists, the prominent leaders in both sections, the Dadabhai Naroji, the Lala Lajpat Rai, the Surendranath Banerjee, each one's roles, A.O. Hume, individual leaders' ka role, you need to know very well. These are things which would be useful both in the first section as well as in the long format section. The role of the Indian National Congress in the growth of nationalism. So you could get this kind of umbrella 4-mark question also. Then as far as Gandhian history is concerned, the Champaran, the Kheda, the Ahmedabad Satyagraha, the non-cooperation movement, the civil disobedience movement, the Salt Satyagraha, Dandi March, then the Quit India movement, jiska chapter alag hai. What was their individual impact? So isme please focus on making your own mind maps, so that if you make a mind map like this, and then each pointers के साथ you put the points like this, इससे आपको याद easy से होगा. और each section को, इसको for example blue से circle करो, इसको red से करो, इसको yellow से करो, इसको green से करो. So this way you will be able to remember it much better. These mind maps will be very useful, right? So work on all the three major movements, because one point of confusion for students is to get confused between non-cooperation, civil disobedience, and Quit India movement, right? The role of the INA, the objectives of the forward bloc, right? Then Indian independence, again, the Mountbatten Plan and the Indian Independence Act. Please look at my video. It will really clarify all those points to you. It will give you a lot of clarity, and it will also help in revision for you, right? So here I have again written, prepare mind maps. Then world history, World War I, World War II. Both you need to know. World War I, World War II, the Treaty of Versailles, role of Hitler and Mussolini. You need to know. Another thing I want to tell you, Treaty of Versailles, in the last 2 years, questions have been asked only about the military fallout of that, or the political fallout, or the restructuring of countries within Europe. So you need to know the subsections of the Treaty of Versailles also very well, because ये नहीं कि मैं 3 पॉइंट याद करके चला गया, 3 मार्क का क्वेश्चन, टेल अस अबाउट ट्रीटी ऑफ वर्साइल्स. वो दिन गए, वो दिन 2020, 22, 23 वगैरह के दिन गए. उस तरह के क्वेश्चंस अभी नहीं पूछे जाएंगे. अम्ब्रेला क्वेश्चन, उसके अंदर आपसे टेस्ट किया जाएगा कि सिर्फ ट्रीटी ऑफ वर्साइल्स के 3 पॉइंट पढ़ के आया है या कुछ और भी ज्यादा पढ़ के आया है या नहीं. ओके, so Hitler and Mussolini. Then why United Nations was formed. League of Nations also very important in after World War I. The objectives of United Nations, and what do the major agencies like UNESCO, UNICEF, WHO do. The various other organs like the ICJ, the Security Council, and the General Assembly do. What about civics? Now civics will be more about understanding than history. Maybe World War history, there will be sense of understanding, but civics is 5x more. So please do not rote learn. Bookish knowledge, simply not enough. You need to know things about composition and functions of Lok Sabha, the speaker, the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, the president, the vice president, the legislative process, everything. Here the prime minister, the president, and the vice president, their elections, the power and functions, their roles, everything. You need to know. Again, please look at my videos in your own interest. The judiciary. Now here you will need to understand the different kind of jurisdictions. Lots of minor points are there. Mind maps again in a chapter like judiciary will be very useful. The composition of the judiciary, their role in protecting the constitution and the fundamental rights of citizens like you and me. So all those things will be very useful. Okay, let me see if I've missed out on anything. Can I leave out any chapter? No, I've already told you what's a weightage. I've told you how to remember facts. Don't rote learn. On the app, I had put a PDF of the important dates. I don't know if it's there, but please go to the channel, Usme in the search bar on the channel, look for important history dates. There are videos which are done, 1 or 2 videos which are done. Please go and have a look at it. It's a very exhaustive and a clean, comprehensive video. Un dates ko yaad zarur rakhna. As far as facts is concerned, a certain element of recall is required, but I would think if you understand it, if you remember history as a story, if you understand civics with the help of examples, you will not have any problem. How to understand civics, I've already told you, with the help of real life examples. In all my explanation videos, I've used a lot of examples to make it easier for you. How to prepare for competency-based questions. Get hold of the 400 MCQ question bank. I can assure you it is the most comprehensive question bank and test papers you will get. Okay, so that's as far as the 5 questions are concerned. So that's what you need to do. Subscribe now to the YouTube channel. Most of you would have already done that. Website par jao, check out karo. So far, I have put history civics, I have put geography. Class 9 ke liye there is an English literature. Class 10 ka English literature will come very soon. I am preparing and I will put very soon a full test success test papers on which will include 10 comprehension passages along with their questions so that you know how to attempt the summary, etc. Then there are also some grammar questions given with that. So that is another thing. So essays ka book, essays and letters and notice email ka book aapke paas hai, write English right. Grammar ka grammatically yours book aapke paas hai. Yahan par comprehension and some grammar questions. So for some 140 marks, I am putting out here 200 marks of comprehension, 140 marks of grammar. So 340 marks ka. This will be the next package of test papers for English language. Okay, so go there, check it out. I can assure you, you will marvel at the quality that is being produced so far for history, civics, geography, and also for English grammar. Literature will follow very soon. Tata, bye bye. Thank you very much. Namaskar. All the best.